welcome to Lawrence Live. I'm Dr. Sean Smith, Superintendent of Schools for the Metropolitan School District of Lawrence Township, and I'm so excited this spring afternoon as I have two of our wonderful employees here representing our middle school athletic department. Closest to me, I have Ms. Robin Lewis, who is the athletic director at Fall Creek Valley, and to my far right, I had Mr. Mike Connor, who is the athletic director at Belzer Middle School. So welcome to both of you. This is the first time I've had my middle school athletic directors to join me. As a former middle school principal, middle school athletics are extremely important to both of you. You do get a little bit of kudos from your superintendent because middle schools, it's pretty tough being a middle school athletic director, but a very important part of what we do in our district, offering many opportunities to our students. So I just want to first of all start, I'm going to go with the senior guy here. Mr. Connor, talk a little bit about what we offer, Mr. Connor, for middle school athletics to all of our students, because I don't think our public knows all the different offerings that we have.
Well, we offer as much as we can. I like to tell folks that a simple way to think of it is if the high school has it, so do we. So whether it's football or basketball, which are some of the more high-profile programs, to swimming and golf and tennis, if the high school has a program, we have it as well. We play the exact same season. So it's a little bit shorter season than the high school because we're at the middle level. But if the high school has the team, we do as well because we think it's really important for us to grow kids at the middle level that can then be successful at the high school level as well.
Coach Connor, I hear in there like the high school. So do we try to play some of the similar teams that we would play at the high school but middle school level? Is that what you're saying?
As much as possible, we do. Yeah. Obviously, the schools in the Marion County, they're all close to us, and in our conference as well. We try to mirror those same competitions, and we have conference championships as well as Marion County tournaments, the same as the high school does at many levels. We don't have a state tournament like the high school because we're a middle level. I think that travel would be a little bit much for middle school kids, but. Competing across Marion County and across the schools in our conference, that gives our kids a really good opportunity to compete against other really good schools that have other really good programs as well.
Absolutely, and build that school spirit and pride. And I know both schools do a lot of that. I'm going to call Coach. I call them both coaches because they're always in the gym and always around the athletics. So, Coach Lewis, talk about what are the goals? What do you try to do with middle school athletes? What's the outcome for our middle school athletes?
Yeah, obviously to build the program, to build the high schools. So it's more of a character development. It's all across the board. Think of a holistic approach, not the character, the mental piece, emotional piece, as we're building these young people so they are prepared for the high school setting.
Absolutely, and building that character and building these young people to become great student athletes. I think that's where you both are going, because I always get reports about how kids are doing academically as well as athletically. But let's go back to our middle school athletes, because we have a ton of them, and you guys are competitive. You certainly want to win, but what's the key ingredient because at that age level, kids are, they're big, tall. What do you do? How do you work with that?
That's a good question, and sometimes the parents ask that question a lot too. That the kids grow at such different rates. How do you handle that? We have the support, luckily, from Dr. Smith and from our principals for B teams and reserve teams. In many cases, our football team has an A team and a B team. Our basketball teams have A teams and B teams. Our wrestling team has a reserve and a varsity roster. Our track teams have reserve heats and reserve meets, because the kids do grow at vastly different rates at this age, and some of them are taller and larger than many of the adults that we see in the building, and some of them are have still not hit a growth spurt yet. So we offer opportunities for them at all those levels to grow as people. So as they grow physically, they can also grow academically and develop their skills in the games they want to play.
Coach Lewis, you telling me you guys do you have any sports for because our middle schools are 7A. Do we have any opportunities for our sixth graders, the littles?
Yeah.
Do they get to participate in middle? Because I know some middle school configurations here in Central Indiana are 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So talk a little bit about that for us.
Yeah, so we offer 6th grade to track, cross country, golf, tennis, wrestling, swimming. So I think there's plenty of opportunity for those younger kids to get involved in sports at an earlier age, and then to still compete and get in the system earlier. And obviously it's promoting that at the elementary schools so we can get as many of them involved as we can.
And for us, that's over 1,200, 1,300 students that have that opportunity to participate. And do we provide transportation for those youngsters to come over to the middle schools? Right. So we really take great pride in providing those wonderful opportunities for our middle school students. Now, I can't have the Bears and Wildcats here, so Bells are Bears and Fall Creek Valley Wildcats. I got to let them brag about themselves. So talk to us, both of you, and I'm going to start with the lady. Tell us something good about what's going on with Fall Creek athletics.
Yeah, right now our baseball team is up for conference champs, and they've played well all season long. Our tennis team's competed strong. Most of their competition's there. Golf just got third in mix. So lots of different things in the spring. I know we had 16 kids go yesterday to county, and we've got 14 advancing. So lots and lots of positive things from our spring athletes. We're competitive in basketball, girls and boys, the years that I've been there. So it's challenging, but it's so exciting to see them excel in the things they love
And
to
I
do.
always get a note from these two when they win that county championship, so they like to brag. Coach Connor, talk to us. Tell us about the Bears.
We've had a good year as well. Our football team, our 8th grade, was undefeated. They were conference champions. Our 8th grade boys basketball team was both county and conference champions. Just like Fall Creek has a team that's currently undefeated in the conference. Theirs was in baseball. Ours was in softball. Our girls, if they win out through the next week, their next 3 games, they'll be conference champions as well. And we've got 10 kids joining our sprinter from our sprint team, joining our distance runners tomorrow morning at the MIC track meet as well. So we're looking forward to seeing some more kids from both Lawrence schools do really well this next week as we finish the spring season.
Outstanding to both of you. It's an honor to have you on my couch here. Those that come on this couch are great people, and these two are leading our athletic programs for our middle schools that touch thousands of young people every year who participate in our middle school athletic program. So I thank both of you for coming on our show. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this segment of Lawrence Live. I'm coming right back because I've got a Wildcat I need for you to meet from Lawrence North High School. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to this segment of Lawrence Live. I'm Dr. Sean Smith, Superintendent of Schools, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with royalty. I have with us our head basketball coach, legendary head coach, Mr. Jack Kiefer, joining us today. He has brought along with us another outstanding Lawrence North basketball player, and Mr. C.J. Gunn. Coach Kiefer, C.J., thank you for joining me on my couch. I'm glad to have both of you here after a great season and a heck of a 4-year basketball run for you, young man. So, Coach Kiefer, let's talk. We know that this is your last year of coaching basketball, but I got to get under the hood and talk about your players that you've had. Coach Kiefer, this young man is sitting next to me. You've had a lot of Indiana All-Stars. Is that correct?
I had a bunch of them.
You have. That's a big deal in Indiana.
Tends to make a better coach.
It make a better coach. But we got to get to the facts. And I have traveled around the state, coached various high schools, and even attended high school in Indiana. And if you have one Indiana All-Star, that's a big deal, Coach. And so, how many Indiana All-Stars have you had?
Well, I think this is 17. I could be off a number, but I think we had 16 up on that wall, and now he's
Number 17.
Yeah.
Wow. And some high schools don't have that many. CJ, I went to a high school, and every day that I walked through, there was an Indiana All-Star up on the wall, Mike Woodson, which I went to high school, the same high school as Mike Woodson, Broad Ripple High School. Coach, we only had a few of them up there.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't Don Cox, Mike Woodson, it was just a handful. But at your high school, a bunch of them. So you're going to be playing for a legendary college coach, and Mike Woodson, one of my favorite because he went to Broad Ripple High School. Coaches, you're going to Indiana University, young man. Let's talk about that. Why Indiana?
I feel like they have a great culture down there, and it feels like home down there. Whenever I go down there, they treat me like family, and it's just a great environment, and it makes me want to be great. So
Right. You got to have a good college coach, but talk about the coach you have over there. You've been with this man for a while, and give a tribute to your coach, man. This guy has coached for 46 years, so you got to give him a tribute, man. What did he do for you?
man, I'm so thankful for him. When I transferred schools, he took me in wholeheartedly, and I think he helped me become the player I'm today. And he's taught me so many things, and even though during the season we had our ups and downs, I feel like we both really just came to understanding, and we had a great season, and it was great while it lasted.
He did get it. Did he get on you ever? Did he ever tell you he had
Of course.
He did
Of course.
every day, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he tell you about getting more rebounds?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Definitely.
I just wanna know,
everything.
you know.
I took everything.
Yeah, I love attending games. I'm not a coach, but I follow coach's lead, and I agree with him. Once you get more rebounds, so but CJ, you're going to Indiana University to play basketball, which is an extraordinary achievement, young man. But let's talk about you as a person, because I've watched you grow, not only get taller but grow academically as a student. What's your future aspirations academically from Indiana University?
Obviously to get my degree, but I'm really going into this basketball thing head first. But my parents always told me that you need a plan B and something to fall back
Love
on.
that.
The ball will start dribbling. Will stop dribbling one day. So I just want to set myself in the best position to prepare for when the ball stops bouncing.
Absolutely. Coach Kiefer, what can you say about number 17? I think we're exact on our number. You know, most coaches be glad to have one or two, but talk about number 17. What is this young man?
I mean, I think in the 3 years he played for me, we were like 77 and 11 or some stupid number.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
And so we've had a great run, and he's instant offense. I mean, you know, if we'd have taken this year's team and CJ wasn't there, and he wasn't to start with, he broke a bone in his toe, or what was his toe? Wasn't it? Yeah. Broke his toe, and it hurt. But we had some players that stepped up and got us through it. We lost that game against LC we didn't like, but other than that, we got through that, and then we got him going. And then going into sectional, I felt like we were as good a team as we were the year before, and we were awfully good the year before.
Yes.
And then we just had one of our guards got sick on us during a sectional, and that really hurt us. Right. But CJ stepped up, and he's a tough-minded guy. He wasn't easy to coach at times. He thought every shot was open, and sometimes they were, and sometimes I said, you're falling backwards, or you're way too far out. But he always had confidence in himself, and that's what makes a good basketball player.
Absolutely. We are certainly proud of you, CJ. CJ, if you could give advice, because we're going to the elementary students watch this, and you know, over at Sunnyside, they got a couple good basketball players over. You're not going to be the last CJ Gunn. You know that, don't you? There's some really good little kids over there. What advice would you give to them?
To just wait for your moment and be prepared for it. Obviously, I've dealt with multiple roadblocks in my high school career with injuries and transferring schools and seeing everybody's success hit before mine. But you know, God has His own timing, and your time is going to come. So just keep working and be prepared for when that time comes.
We didn't like that pandemic that we coached in 2020. We missed you too. You were just coming back. That was we want to chalk that up, because Coach would have had another state championship.
On that
Absolutely, we would have had a state championship. Coach, last word that you have of wisdom that you can give, because you have spent an incredible career and run in this school corporation, educating and coaching young people. What advice would you give to our students out there?
Well, I think as a student coming up, you've got to find a place. Obviously, you've got to do your academics. You can't even play if you don't. But you've got to find a time, and you've got to find a way to work at being an athlete, and not necessarily just a basketball player. I think playing baseball and little league and all the different things help your hand-eye coordination. Basketball players are usually good tennis players. They're usually good baseball players, and they're usually pretty good in golf.
Yes.
Because there's a hand-eye coordination involved, and when you find that, and basketball is the one that gets your attention the most. And of course, in Indiana, that happens a lot.
Yes.
And so you can usually become a very good basketball player with that special hand-eye, and if you can become an athlete, you've got to be an athlete at our level. The CJs and the people on my team, they either have big hands, they're really fast, they're really tall, or they really have a work ethic that is exceptional.
Yes.
If you're not, you probably don't make a team of this nature.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean you can't play basketball
Absolutely.
somewhere, but a team of CJ's team's nature, there's got to be something special involved there. And it's not all talent. It's that hard work element and that attitude and that willingness to be a good teammate are very, very big in being a good player.
Absolutely. Coach, we really appreciate that wisdom. And as we close out, June the 11th, CJ, I want to put a plug in for you, Indiana All-Star Game.
Yeah.
We need to get the Lawrence Township faithful to come out and support this young man as he will represent Indiana as one of the All-Stars this year. And I'll certainly be there. I've got my seat ready to go. They called
Yes,
me,
sir.
and I'll be there to support you. And then my last words are to Coach Kiefer, who I had the privilege of watching coach over 4 decades, and coach and watching you back in the 80s all the way up until the 2000s. Your teams were always the same. They were very, very skillful, great shooters and hard workers, and it reflected in how well they played on the floor, represented your coaching. And so I just want to congratulate you on a hell of a career.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed watching you, man. We watched him play Pike 6 years ago. I think the game was 36-35, and it's one of the best high school basketball games I've ever seen in my life. Okay, and Coach, you know what I mean?
I
It was a
remember that.
great basketball game,
Yeah.
and watched him win state championships where I was on the other side, and to watch the incredible run we've had the last 3 years with these young men. It's been an incredible career. So thank you, Coach Kiefer,
You're
for
welcome.
coming on my show and
Had a lot
being
of
on my
fun.
couch, man. Thanks a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this segment of Lawrence Live, and stay with us. We've got another outstanding student here in Lawrence Township. Matter of fact, he's a Lawrence Central Bear. Thank you. Hello and welcome to this last segment of Lawrence Live. I'm Dr. Sean Smith, Superintendent of Schools, and I am so honored today to be with the Lawrence Central Bears. I have with me Yahya Amjad, student at Lawrence Central High School. Yahya, welcome, my man,
you.
welcome.
Thank you for
I
having me.
always find talent as I travel the district. This is a conversation with a very talented young man who has done well academically as well as socially in our schools. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's a celebration of this young man. Yahya, let's talk a little bit about you. First of all, I got to put it out there. Indiana University Wells Scholar.
Yes, sir.
As you all know, Dr. Smith is an IU alum. And so, yes, I'm sorry, Purdue fans, I'm going to cheer for Indiana University today because one of our students has earned an outstanding scholarship as a Wells Scholar. Let's talk about what does it mean to be a Wells Scholar at Indiana University, because that's a very prestigious scholarship.
Yeah, of course. So the Wells Scholar program is widely recognized as IU's top scholarship program, and it's ultra competitive, and people apply from all around the U.S. and the world to gain admission into it. And basically, it guarantees us 4 years of full tuition in addition to stipend to study abroad and a bunch of other stipends that cover, different university programs. And also, we spend a lot of time with a cohort of fellow scholars, and we grow with each other intellectually and academically and whatnot.
A full 4-year scholarship to my favorite university, Indiana University.
Yeah.
Congratulations, young
Thank you.
man. Let's talk about how did you get there. Talk about academically. First of all, tell us where you went to school in Lawrence Township, because we got elementary, middle school students. They're all out there watching.
Yeah.
Tell us your journey here in Lawrence Township.
Yeah, so I actually started at Amy Beverland Elementary and went to Belzer from there, and then Lawrence Central, where I'm graduating from now. So I've spent my entire academic career, so to say, in Lawrence Township. So that's been my journey. But as to how I got the scholarship, it was just a culture at home and around my family. They were really supporting of me and my academics, and they knew education came first. I have 2 older sisters who also graduated from LC, and they were able to give me the several tips and tricks and advice about what to do and what not to do. But it was just 4 years consistent hard work. When some people were taking and picking up study halls, I had to take some extra classes to prove myself academically, and I had to study long hours. But I think the effort in the end paid off.
Well, and you have done well. You didn't only do academics, you did some other things, because that Wells Scholar is competitive. So
Yeah.
you did some other things and were involved in that. Talk about your extracurriculars. What else did you do?
Yeah, so not only was it academics, but there was a lot of volunteering. So I was with Key Club and LCDM, so that was in the schools. But I also want to get engaged civically, so I joined the Indianapolis Mayor's Youth Leadership Council and worked alongside the mayor and several other Indianapolis area students on service projects. And I also really enjoy science, so I'm going to be majoring in biology at IU. So I pursued summer research programs there, and got to work in labs with a lot of cool IUPUI professors. So it was just a culmination of all these experiences that
Absolutely.
really brought me here.
Congratulations, young man, and you've been well educated in Lawrence Township Schools.
Yep.
Now let's talk about future plans, man. Talk to us about all this education you've gotten in Lawrence Township and Indiana University. What do you aspire to do, young man?
Yeah, so I'm really motivated to, cross over my interests between the health and biology sectors and also in politics and public policy. So not only pursuing a medical degree, but also to some aspect pursuing, changes in healthcare public policy to make healthcare more accessible for Americans. And that's one big goal that I've kind of developed and realized throughout these 4 years.
This young man's inspiring me. I mean, can you believe? I mean, I just am admiring Yaya and all that he has done as a student here in Lawrence Township. And Yaya represents the great diversity that we have in our school district and the excellence that we have in our school district, because in order to become a Wells Scholar, you had to be well prepared. And
Yes, sir.
Give a shout out to any teacher, anyone out there who helped you on your journey, young man.
So if it's all right, I got
Yes.
a lot of shout outs.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first of all, to my mom and dad, they were the first ones there for me, supporting me this entire time. Thank you, Mom, so much for everything, and Dad, thank you for all your sacrifices. To my sisters, Rabia and Aisha, we might fight sometimes, but you guys really helped me throughout this entire process. And to all of my teachers that I've had at Lawrence Township, all my educators, all the staff that's been around me and supported me, I couldn't thank you enough, because you've made this experience wonderful for me, and you are the reason why I am in this position today. So thank you.
Powerful, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to share that with the teacher. I think all the teachers in this township need to hear what they have done for you to help you get to where you are. You got to thank
Definitely.
people,
Definitely.
along your journey, and you're going to do some outstanding things. You're
Thank
always
you.
going to be Lawrence Township and Lawrence Central Bear.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, young man, for coming on Lawrence Live. It's an honor, ladies and gentlemen, again, to have the Indiana Wells Scholar right here from Lawrence Township Schools, Lawrence Central High School Bear, Yaya Amjad. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this segment of Lawrence Live, and we look forward to seeing you soon.